These recent pictures show part of the athletes' village in New Delhi, which Commonwealth Games officials described as filthy, raising concerns about the country's preparedness for the sporting event. India is racing against time to save the Games.
Unlivable conditions in the athletes' village, just the latest in a long list of woes plaguing the 2010 Commonwealth Games in New Delhi. With the Games set to begin on Sunday, India is struggling to get everything ready in time. We're analyzing coverage from The Sun, NDTV, The Times of India, and the Vancouver Sun. Concerned about the condition of living conditions at the Games, several countries delayed sending their athletes to New Delhi. But India's NDTV reports that a week out from the Games, the athletes' flats are spick and span, and all 71 countries are set to attend.
Let me just quickly do a walkthrough for you. As you can see, these are the bedrooms where the athletes will be staying, and this incidentally is the tower building where the Indian athletes will be staying. Now, of course, the toilets have come in for attack earlier. Now, of course, most of the toilets scrubbed clean, almost clean. Of course, there are bits of plaster here still.
The Chief Minister of Delhi says the village will be ready for all athletes by Wednesday, but the Times of India says not everyone is convinced. Already, Indian hockey team members have complained about not having water in their room. Botswana officials say their sheets were dirty, and South Africans say they found a snake.
Yesterday we found a snake. We even found a snake. I don't know whether it's an Indian snake.
It was inside one of the rooms?
Inside one of our rooms, yeah. That was really a threat to the lives of our athletes.
The Games were supposed to enhance India's image as a rising power, much like the Olympics did for China, but have since turned into an embarrassment. A poll in the Hindustan Times newspaper shows 68% of surveyed New Delhi residents were ashamed of the Games. Two columnists for the Vancouver Sun discuss what went wrong.
How come they screwed it up so badly with the money, with the technical capacity that they have and the labor that they have?
Yeah. But what seems to have happened was that this got taken over by politicians, and that it was politicians who saw it as a patronage opportunity. Right. They were running it. It wasn't handed to professionals from, as you say, there are countless companies and operations in India which could have done this in a first-class way. And the whole thing just seems to be mismanaged from the word go. And it's a huge shame for India, and it'll undoubtedly be a huge lesson for them in the future.
But a panelist on NDTV's Left, Right, Center says the mistakes have already been made, and now is the time to show support.
Look, eventually the Games will be a success. I have no doubt about it. That, howsoever, I mean, it has been a mess, terrible disaster, shouldn't have happened this way. But now that 9 days are left, somehow we'll patch things together. The Games will happen. It will probably be a spectacle.
So what do you think? Can India pull off the 2010 Commonwealth Games? For Newsy.com, I'm Jennifer Meckles. Multiple sources, the real story.
India's Commonwealth Games are set to begin in less than 2 weeks, but a series of major problems has many concerned whether they can be successfully held. Earlier today, a ceiling collapsed at one Games venue. Thankfully, no one was injured.
A portion of a false ceiling in the Commonwealth Games weightlifting venue in India's capital caved in on Wednesday. Media reports say no one was injured when the roof collapsed. It fell on the area where the jurors would sit near the weightlifting stage. Access was restricted to the stadium, which was surrounded by heavy security. Fire trucks and emergency staff were on hand to monitor the situation. New Delhi residents are concerned.
This will affect the image of the country and will affect the image of the Games. Many tourists and athletes might back out after these incidents. The authorities should have checked and taken precautionary measures beforehand, and should have fixed things that are still not in place.
It never rains, but it pours for the hapless Commonwealth Games organisers. This time it's a snake which is making all the headlines. The South African delegation were horrified to find a snake in one of the rooms reserved for the country's athletes in the Games village. The snake was found during an inspection of the rooms, and it has left their delegation suitably rattled and unsure of whether they will now stay in the village.
We even found a snake. I don't know whether it's an Indian snake.
It was inside one of the rooms?
Inside one of our rooms, yeah. That was really a threat to the lives of our athletes. Of course, it was still dirty, there were still dams, the basement that's full of water, and everything was dirty inside.
It is important to note that the games village is on the banks of the Yamuna, an area that is conducive to the habitation of snakes. But this incident has clearly led to a sense of despair within the South African inspection team, particularly as our athletes are confirmed to arrive into Delhi on Monday.
Whether or not they are going to sleep here, I don't know at the moment, because they are still working. I'm really hopeful that we will finally move into the village. But as I'm saying, they are working very seriously. We have left them working very seriously.
On top of all the problems the organising committee have had to deal with, snakes was surely not expected to be one of them. Sports Bureau, NewsX.